This game is connected to the internet. As you walk around, you can leave notes. All notes you see are left by other players. Sounds like Dark Souls. Do we have like a chalk that we can write with? Alright, what's going on here? These are the notes. Let's see if we can interact with it. I can't.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're gonna see have been written by Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually. Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is gonna happen if you read all of them. Either way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played. But it's ironic, isn't it, that in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me, that I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
So there's a giant artwork at the end here. So let's just skip these text messages for a little bit. Read some of those in front of the painting down there. Let's just check this one. This is a note. I'm not safe. So it looks like a lot of bubbles or circles in that painting. Whoever made this has issues. Hope I'm trying to speak. Alright, let's head through the door. Sort of eerie music as well. Well, I'm here now. Maybe even a little bit tense with the music. I'm sort of expecting something to happen.
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one. In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on. And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
So maybe that's where all of the notes were written. And the lamppost. porn stars die
Okay,
too.
this one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
There's a well out there. And the sun just breaking through the clouds. And bars for the window. Can I open this door? No, it opened on its own. Bottom of the well.
See, like, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
So here's no furniture. What furniture ought to go in the center of the room so we can pick something? Let's put a giant hole in the ground, option 3. That's not a hole in the ground, that's a coffee table. Okay, now how about along the wall of the room? 10 stoves lined up. Yeah, let's line up 10 stoves. So we got a sofa. I think we should light up this room a bit. Yeah, skylight, full ceiling window. Let's open this baby up. So we got a lamp. And a table, you need a table. Who are you? Where exactly are you doing this from? Let's say one. So that's the desk.
There's a bit more to this one, but still it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake. So okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Hello, please walk forward. This guide will enable you to escape any prison environment. Follow the instructions carefully, take care that you remember each step. First click on this table. Alright. Good, go over to the photo frame and click to turn it slightly. Now turn the floor lamp in this room off, then turn it back on. So over here. Now go to the left side sofa, move it over a little. Alright. Finally touch the shelves. That's it. In a real prison, the escape will now open. Return to the start to be taken back to your prison. Alright, that was pretty weird. So now we're back here.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape. Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this, to see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop, that particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
Alright, so let's check it out. Is that the well there in the darkness? No, it's just a wall. There's the lamppost again. In a phone booth. Hello, who is it? Hey, it's me. I'm you from after you escaped the prison. You're me? So you were trapped in this prison too? Yep, I was in the furniture maze.
It's a conversation. And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
So I'll just select some of these answers here.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice? So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
It's a really nice environment.
To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
So we have to talk to this guy.
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
You can clear the table. Run to the bedroom and make the bed. Alright, so where's the bed? Can you open the fridge? No. Ah, here's the bed. There we go. Now it's all neat. It's a pretty nice house. Straighten out the rug. Let's do that. Somebody spilled here. Straighten out the pillows on the sofa. Alright, here we go. And the drink. There we go. So he's going to share especially cheesy personal insight with us, but decides not to. Wash the dishes, okay. There we go. Top needs cleaning. There we go. Books scattered on the floor in the bedroom. Yeah, over here. dishes off the table.
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
Smooth out.
I know that Coda really liked this game. Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time, just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
So now he wants us to smooth out the rug again in the bedroom. So we have to do the top again. He just keeps repeating the same. So now he gets to the cheesy fort again. I was going to say that it occurs to me that one's house is a lot like one's soul. You take care of it and it takes care of you. Don't know why I felt so weird about saying that. So let's say number 3, but there's a bit of truth in it, no? Anyway, so housekeeping. Let's keep doing this. Books, would you please clean up the books? Thanks. Alright then.
I'm glad he made this. I'm glad he found some peace.
So we should talk about getting paid for all of this house cleaning.
But, of course, it can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive. Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.